is hiring, and we just spent $500,000.
Yo, don't jump the gun with that video, sir.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Don't tease people that way.
All right. Well, hello and good morning, Hunter Hammonds.
Tommy Gioco, good morning. Good to see you. Welcome to this Friday. Oh my gosh, man. Do you know what it is? It is Friday, May the 1st. And Release Notes is here.
It is May the 2nd, and I am excited for this feeling like the last week of school so that I can go to Config next week and just party my face off with all the fun folks in San Francisco.
Sorry. You're right. I forgot this watch. I did not. It was, there's no 31st in April. I didn't change the date.
Yeah, you gotta stop buying those reps, man. It's all right.
Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. Now we know. May the 2nd.
Yeah.
Tommy, what are we talking about today? We got some big guests. We got some big news. It's a big day. What's the agenda?
It's a good one. I'm excited today because we do get to talk some fine folks. David Hong over at Atlassian AI. We've got Stephen Haney joining us to finally demo the damn long-awaited paper, which I have been so excited for people to see. So
just confirm, Stephen, founder, CEO of Paper, is going to join and he's going to show the people paper.
He's just diving right in. So we're
I have never seen it. This is going to be new for me.
I've seen a brief intro. So I actually am very curious to see where they're at, and I'm stoked about it. And then after that, we've got, I'm going to tell you what, I've got some opinions about some things that have happened in the media today.
Okay.
Primarily, old Zuck's bets on AI and Meta. And he's been making the rounds. And I'll tell you what, he was kind of getting his cool vibe back again. And now he's like saying some stuff that's like, okay, he's still a robot, but he's a robot with some good ideas, I think. And I'm going to tell you why. But before that, even if Zuck's wrong, dude, these youths today coming out using these dev tools. Oh, they get me pumped up, man. People are being kind of cynical to these youths out here. And I think all those old cranky people are just, man, these are dumb ideas. I'm like, you guys are looking at it all wrong. You're going to be working for these kids, man. These kids are doing some really cool stuff. We're going to take a look at a few of them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the show today. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, dude. However, though, I got to talk to you about something.
What's that?
Well, listen, I don't know how else to say this other than to say that we do have another special guest today. We have a man named Eric Simons, founder, CEO of Stack Blitz, also most importantly known as Bolt. Bolt is doing something crazy. They're hosting $1 million hackathon that kicks off on May the 7th and runs, I believe prizes are awarded in July, I think is when it happens. But dude, I fucked up. I did something. I got to tell you about it, or maybe you already know. I got to tell the people about it. Listen. Here's the deal. I got to change the overlay on the show. I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And
you should.
Yeah. Whoa! There it is. People, we sold our soul. We made a deal with the best AI dev tool there is. Release Notes is now brought to you by Bolt.
Proper shilling. We made it.
You better bet your ass that this means three things. Here they are. Do you know what these things are, Tommy?
I want to hear them.
Okay. Thing one. Yes, we will absolutely fucking interrupt this show to give you 30 seconds of ad coverage to tell you about Bolt today. Yes, we will. 2. I don't know what the second one is. 3. Most importantly, this will not change our very opinionated, objective views on the landscape. It just means that we won't take money from any other AI development companies because Bolt is paying us not to. But most importantly, here's what excites me about this. We've been talking about this a few episodes, the comparisons we've done between Lovable, Bolt, V0, Replit, etc. And Bolt emerged as our favorite. And I want the people to know right here, right now, this deal came together quite quickly. Before this deal was even on our radar, we'd already established that Bolt was our favorite. So this feels wonderful because we just get to rep a tool that we already love. I like it.
Yeah. I'm super stoked. In all honesty, I'm excited to talk to Eric because one, there's a lot of cool stuff that Bolt's doing in config next week, which I'm gonna just be bopping in the city. But two, there's a lot to be said about the companies that are investing into certain aspects of whether it's the community, how they're getting it out there while still shipping good product. And I kind of want to talk to him about it because that's the part that's really attracted me most to Bolt is how they're moving.
I like it. I like it.
So, but before we do that, I got to ask you for your opinion, and I want to know because I have an opinion. The new A16Z logo, right out of the kitchen, man. What do you think?
You know, can I tell you what I think? Can I actually share my screen real quick? I'm gonna share my screen because I'm gonna check something real quick. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. You know what? I don't like it. You know,
don't talk about his shape of his head, man.
It's Jaguar levels of bad. Not a fan. Not a fan.
Rough, brutal. But I will say, I am kind of a fan. All jokes aside, Star Trek ass logo, man. I just had to do it. I couldn't help myself. But I appreciate the vision. Appreciate where they're trying to go, what the message they're trying to make. Someone said there's a great coin. They're memeing the crap out of this, by the way.
You know for fact that guy got blocked. This guy down here, drunk Plato, he got blocked.
I didn't see these. I'm sorry. This does not mean I endorse this.
If you in any way, shape, or form tweet anything that remarks upon the shape of Mark Andreessen's head, he will block you.
Oh my God. All right. Someone said, because people were kind of like clamoring that this was AI generated, but someone is saying the details are a little too fine for this to be AI generated, that this might be handcrafted.
That seems to be handcrafted, yes.
Pretty impressive if that's the case. But I will say Midjourney did just drop omni referencing. And I mean, Tatiana already shown us exactly what that is, right? ChatGPT kind of has this going on already, but I like this next step. I tried to test them. So I said, am I just bad at prompting or is ChatGPT potentially better? So, you know, I wanted to see what you look like on a Folgers commercial. Folgers commercial.
Yep.
Okay. You can get poked. I don't know. But then I was like, you know, let me try like a little bit of ChatGPT. I think I just suck at Midjourney prompting, maybe.
This isn't Midjourney. This is ChatGPT. That's probably why you suck, because you're
no. I mean, like, I feel like the ChatGPT reference is a bit better, and my Midjourney reference maybe not so good.
I mean, look at my ring finger. Like,
you need to get that checked out, man. So, you know, that's where we're at. This warmed my heart. Who
is that woman? That's what I want to know.
This is the Folgers montage.
I don't know anybody that looks like that.
But speaking of this, so we are saying officially good night to GPT-4.
Yeah.
GPT-4.
Pour one out for the homies.
Moment of silence, please. Moment of silence. Kind of like this idea, though, or maybe it's completely self-serving, to make little monuments of these models. We're just have model graveyards. You're going to have little tombstones of what once was. Did you see Slate Auto? And I know you're a big car guy. I know you love yourself a little modular truck. You buying one?
No, I drive a real truck, a big truck.
You don't want to just look at what you can do. You can
these are really cool. Man. These are really cool.
I appreciate the utilitarianness of this.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think they're really neat. It would be fun to own one just for, you know, like puttering around town in. But I'll stick with the Raptor for now.
These have any sort of max speed? These are just regular vehicles, right?
Yeah. These are just little guys, fellas. Yeah.
Just a shout out our boy Nizzy. He was with us the other week. Just launched Zero Email in public beta. I like that. Very nice. Then are you using Raycast on iOS yet? I haven't used it.
I have it downloaded. I have it on my home screen. I haven't used it yet.
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Well, I'm excited to get in there and check it out. But I think the biggest utility for me with Raycast on my phone would be the AI features. But I also just have like really strong habits of using ChatGPT on my phone. So we'll see if Raycast makes some of that stuff easier. But the attention to detail that they put into this app, the release, everything, top notch. Raycast is continuing to kill it, man.
Yeah, this video is great too. Inga Hampton speaking at Config this next week, designer at Raycast, which I think is awesome. This is really showing me, because Granola, where are you on my mobile phone? I want more cross-device AI.
Can we pause for a second?
Yes.
Can I show you something really important?
Oh no.
Can you let's show them, people.
Why don't I have that?
Here's what you do. Open the App Store, search Granola, and then hit the button for download.
Wait, is it public?
Yes.
This wasn't always the case, and even recently was not the case. I need someone to concede.
Dude.
My point is, the cross-device of what's happening in a lot of these productivity tools is really what I'm excited about. I mean, listen, Humane, Rabbit, everybody got it mostly right. They knew we wanted this. They just couldn't deliver it yet because there were hardware wrappers on top of things that weren't there yet. And this is where I think this starts to make a lot of sense. You see Granola, you see Raycast, you see Perplexity start to go mobile. And I shake my head, man, because I was trying Perplexity's AI assistant and it's boo-boo, man. It's not good. Don't like it. Guys, come on. Like, why is this voice reading at 3 miles an hour my search query back to me? That's not human in the loop. You're driving me insane. I have a lot of thoughts about it.
I have thoughts about that. Can we spend just a moment? Let's go off script here, because we do have an agenda today, ladies and gentlemen, as we did last Friday. So we are, part of us having a sponsor now, it means that we got to get serious. We got to have smart things to say, good reactions. We got to distribute this on all your favorite stuff, your favorite podcast networks, video on Spotify. We got to make clips. It's omnipresence that you're going to see from us soon. But we're still gonna go off script. So speaking of how bad Perplexity's assistant is, because it is bad, it's very slow. I got to tell you something really important. So there is three things that viewers of this show should know. The first, you're a Unicorn Studio shill. Okay.
Yes.
The second, you like Perplexity a lot. Mm-hmm. I personally think that ChatGPT is just better for the use case. You like Notion a lot. I do not. I recently came across this, and boy, did this make me happy. I think I've been plansterbating my life away.
What? What is that?
So I just found out about this word, plansturbation. It means when you get stuck in endless planning instead of actually doing the thing. And I hate how much it describes me. I have ADHD, so planning gives me this illusion of control. I'll spend hours building the perfect system in Notion, color coding tasks, watching productivity YouTubers, and writing out routines that I never actually follow. It feels productive until I realize I've done none of the real work. It's like my brain gets high off the idea of being organized and then crashes when it comes time to follow through. I'm not lazy. I care a lot. But executive dysfunction and fear of failure just keeps pulling me back into this loop of almost nothing. Anyone else been here? How do you break this cycle? The answer, I'm going to save you, Dear Pluto on Reddit. I'm going to save you. Here is the answer. Delete Notion. Get one of these right here, analog card, okay? All your problems are solved.
Who makes that analog card, by the way? Where can they get one?
Ugmonk, baby. Ugmonk.
What's the website address on that?
UGMONK.com.
That's easy. It's a couple of
characters. One of these. I'm going to be giving away. I'm going to be giving away a few of these, and I'm going to be giving away a gather set next Friday's episode of Today in Design.
That's coming out of your payroll. That's awesome. Good to know. So I like that. And Ugmonk, let's go buy some stuff, right?
So Tommy, you are officially a plansterbator.
I'm
That's
not.
Why you like Notion so much.
Negative. I despise that. Notion's good. Notion AI, not so good, but we've talked about that. But I will say this: there's a lot of this on device or cross device that's trying to happen. I know we saw Cluely. I'm sorry. I know we saw Cluely. Roy Lee came out, right? Got kicked out of college, made waves all over the internet, and then just decided to take his AI cheating app and bring it cross device, or at least right now, Mac and Windows.
Yep.
It's active on my device right now. I paid $20. Roy, I'm a supporter. And then I hid the interface because I was like, I want this to go away, and I don't really use it now. I don't know what to do with it yet. I'm trying to think about how to use it. I think it's a good idea in theory. It's one of those things I'm learning. Adopting these new AI tools is kind of you have to force yourself into a new workflow for a little bit to really see if it sticks for you or not.
You know what? Speaking of that, you know what's sitting in this little. Speaking of Ugmonk, let me grab this little guy. Okay, here we go. And this little box that I haven't opened since using it like twice.
Mm-hmm.
You recognize that?
Yep.
Yeah, the limitless pendant.
Yeah.
Especially now that I have granola on my iPhone. Why do I need this little thing? And the app for this is not great. It's not great.
Is that just sitting around over there for you?
Correct.
I have mine right here.
As you're still in the box, you're opening a box right now, aren't you?
I don't know where everything is actually. Yeah.
What a waste of $100. Real quick, while you get that out, I see a couple things here. Devin Fountain. Let's see. Devin said, shout out Hunter's solo stream from this week. Some real nuggets in there. I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not. But then Kyle says, I caught Hunter was streaming while I was in a call. He didn't save it, did he? So I did go live the other day to talk about some vibe coding stuff. However, it was a absolute calamity. Neither 2.5 Gemini, 4.1 for ChatGPT, or 3.7 Sonnet would work. So it was basically just this waste of a stream. They couldn't edit files, couldn't do any tool calls. I don't know if it was the models, I don't know if it was Windsurf, but it was so frustrating. I abruptly ended the stream and then just fucking deleted it. I was like, this is an absolute waste of time. So I have to redo it. Probably gonna do some stuff in Bolt. But we will get there again, and I'll share all the tips and tricks that I've learned.
Well, I want to talk about this real quick before David joins us in about 7 minutes. Cluely's been kind of on my radar, man. You know, like, mainly just because of Roy and the just way he's moving is very memeable and goofy and also extremely impressive. And I don't know if I love Cluely, right? I'm trying to learn it. I'm trying to see if it's interesting. It's a pretty, like, this is the Raycast concept. This is a lot of things trying to be, it listens on everything. It's like watching the screen, which makes me like kind of nervous sometimes to think about what I'm doing with that. But they did something interesting recently, right? And so here's a bet they're making, and I kind of want to share this with, we're going to watch this quick promo video here.
Cluely's hiring, and we just spent $500,000 on the biggest office we could find in the heart of San Francisco.
We need top talent, engineers, designers, creators. If you want to help build the future of how humans interact with AI, Cluely is the place you need to be.
We grew our last company to $1 million in annual revenue in 36 days. Cluely's gonna do it in half that. And now we wanna be the fastest growing company to $100 million annual revenue in history.
This is the most unconventional company you've ever seen. Our average age is 21, and we're a team of community college students and Ivy League dropouts. We believe that young people are going to be the ones to change the world.
To prove it, we're hiring 50 interns this summer. This will be the most competitive internship of your life. Every day, you'll be surrounded by the absolute best of your generation, getting to experience how startups are built from the earliest stage.
We expect top-of-the-line performance, and we'll be offering pay and insane bonuses to match. If you're truly exceptional and have ever felt like your life was meant for something more,
this is the place you need to be. This is where we build the future of humanity. This is Cluely, Ground Zero.
The future of humanity.
Yeah. So immediately they get, I don't know how much money they raised, right? What was it? Like 5.3 million seed. Look how cool these two youths are. Look at these youths just cleaning, dude. Just cleaning 5.3 million seed. They're like, let's take 10% of that and invest it into rent. That's what they decided, you know? And then they're like, let's take the rest and hire a bunch of interns for $50 an hour. We're going to make $100 million faster than any company in history. Who made $100 million the fastest right now? I want to know that answer.
It's Cursor.
Is it Cursor, actually?
It's Cursor, yeah.
That's pretty incredible. I'm very curious to see how these guys rock. Like, there are people who have been nothing but critical of Roy and the way he's moving. And now with that, people are like laughing, like, you stupid kid, what are you doing? And I'm telling you, man, even if he's wrong or fumbles this somehow, I would totally do it the way he's doing right now. Like, swing your face off and do this. Because even if you mess up, like, dude, you're young. Like, hell yeah, make these big swings.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I mean?
saw him tweet out something about the 50 interns, and he was like, we're turning this into the biggest content farm or something along those lines. And if you look at their office as an investment in being able to produce a ton of content, I don't know, man. Like, I'm skeptical because I haven't seen the product, and I know that their demo video was like all hype and it didn't tell us anything about what they actually built. But man, it seems like they know something, which is that distribution is the advantage, right?
Yeah.
Like, raising 5.3 million, you're not going to have the kind of money to like outspend a lot of competitors, most likely. So they're doing something really interesting by attacking social, focusing on distribution. I like it. I think it's super smart. I'm curious to see how that translates to the quality of the product, because I would say in terms of, getting the public's attention, like staying at top of the zeitgeist, it seems like they're crushing it. But how does that translate into building a good product? Or Zeitgeist for those release notes OGs. But
it's almost like if they had heard the intro, maybe they would have caught that. But I do think he's onto something there, and I'm not betting against him because I love to see it. But the thing is, man, this is like a thing that's happening, or at least maybe we're just hearing about it more. But I think it's a little bit of both. There's a lot of enablement. This younger generation, man, out of high school over here, like the Cal AI. This dude, Zach Yadagari, 18 years old, $2 million in revenue a recent month, $2 million in a monthly revenue. When he was 16 years old during COVID, schools were sending Chromebooks to all the students, and they were blocking the gaming websites because the kids were kind of like hacking around how to get on the gaming websites. He coded a website that basically compiled all the non-blocked games, sold it for $100,000.
It's crazy.
You know what my kids were doing during COVID? Playing Minecraft,
Playing Minecraft, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cal AI, then he goes on to create, which is kind of sick. You take a picture of food and it like brings you all the nutrition facts. He's killing it with this right now. He is killing it with this. He has a studio and they build multiple viral apps here. He made Fit AI because he was like nervous about getting girls and he wanted to get fit, and this was his solution to that. And he's doing all of this, and he cannot get accepted into Stanford, MIT, Harvard, Yale. Look at the number of schools that rejected him here.
Yeah, I saw this and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And a lot of the discourse around this was like, do these institutions even matter anymore?
No.
Like, I'm sorry, but like, if you're 18, you scored a 34 on the ACT, you got a 4.0 GPA, and you built a $30 million ARR business as a teenager.
Can you come like speak?
Yeah, all of these should be check marks. Like, it's absolutely wild. And his personal statement is really interesting to read too. Like, this one threw me for a loop. I think it's just when we can literally prompt, just literally open chatgpt.com and prompt and say, hey, can you teach me about, object-oriented programming and how best I can do that with AI in this day and age, and turn that into a 1 week course for me to go from knowing nothing to mastery. And it just gives you that in an instant.
Yep.
I fail to understand the point of universities outside of incredibly specialized education or the socialization that a lot of people look for at that age, right? I don't understand what the utility is.
I'm over here trying to figure out how to best equip my kids to learn how to work in this new world that's coming up. And I'm really one of the motivations behind even talking about these I'm going to just keep saying youths, but is to show them examples of people who are doing this, like Eric Zhu, who at 14 years old was taking sales calls. This kid was taking sales calls in the bathroom stall. He would go on a bathroom break to take sales calls for his startup Aviato. Raised 2.3 million by the age of 17.
Dude, think most 17-year-olds that are sneaking things in the bathroom are like trying to like smoke cigarettes or something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's so many folks, and it's a great list of people that I want to continue to showcase. We have David Hong with us, man.
I'm sorry, David Hong, I'm excited to see you, but hold on. Does that say D1 racer at Sperm Racing, or am I tripping? Click on that middle tag right there.
It sure does.
That says Sperm Racing, the first ever sperm race.
Yeah.
What in the world?
It's these youths, man. I'm telling you, they know something we do not know. And I'm curious to hear, curious to hear what David has to say about it. David, what's up, dude?
Hey, what a segue.
What a segue, dude. Have you ever participated in a sperm race, David?
I am confident. I can give you a lot of conviction, tell you I have not.
Oh, man. David, it is good to have you, dude, because one, we're on the heels here of Config next week. Excited to see you out there. But also, man, you have been just a powerhouse inside of the design side of AI companies, coming from like Webflow, Replit, working at Atlassian's AI side. I think you're seeing a really interesting perspective in the question mark a lot of people are having, which is like, oh, that's great, all you indie builders can 0 to 1 this stuff. But what about those of us with like legacy code, and we've got like a lot of different logistics to get decisions approved? The adoption there's got to be pretty intense for you guys, no?
Not only for us, but I think just anywhere in the industry, right? Like bringing these tools that people want to be using and bringing it into enterprise, it's a lot of friction, right? And there's a couple of things that I think that like are some of these forces of nature. You know, I tell people all the time, existing behaviors are undefeated, right? Those are the things that like kill any product momentum, any work. Anyone that has ever tried to build like a travel app, people use a group text, they use a Google Doc, and it's just the things that like getting people to adopt and change these things. You know, and I think we have this lens because we're really close to kind of the nascent and new frontiers of tools, but that's really not the case for a lot of people. So even just understanding like basic things like prompt engineering, what context windows are, these are things that are still very foreign to a lot of people in, you know, more legacy spaces, if you will. But I think that's the number one thing, right? And then I think the other thing is access and security, like getting those tools into the workplace has been a challenge. And, you know, to me, this is not just an Atlassian thing. This is like everywhere in the industry. So, you know, it's kind of starting with that, really the bottoms up SaaS of people bringing these exciting tools. And, you know, we've all been there where like some admin is like, nope, can't use these tools. So it's really trying to figure out how to navigate that. That's what I'm excited about Atlassian too, is just like being able to use that foundational grounding of like companies of the past like 2 decades to kind of know, like, you know, how do people make decisions? Like, what are the things that become the blockers to really enable AI and these tools out there?
Cisco's CPO, G2 Patel, he came out and said, hey, like the time for being rationally cautious with AI is over. And he was saying this in response to Shopify putting out that, you know, we're going to really lean on AI before we hire for that role. We want people to really be enabled. And those two signals to me a really important shift that from the top side that we really one of the biggest signals we've seen since like some of the ones actually innovating in this space. That is a really interesting thing to me, because you look at the tools coming out, and by the way, you called this out. You said this is Tech's 1996 NBA draft class. I have questions around that. We've competed in fantasy before, so I want to know who your NBA draft class would be. But out of these companies that have come out, and there are hitters here on this list, who are the companies that are exciting you guys, or who are you looking to say like they seem to be finding a way to fit into these workflows for different organizations?
Oh man, so many on the list, right? This is I don't want to turn this into
picking favorite
fantasy sports, but I mean like like Chroma, Perplexity. I mean Cursor for sure, right? Like like Rio moving over there too is going to be huge. So like what a force of nature. I think just to kind of touch on what you said is like the customers I talk to are just like people in the enterprise. I do think like we've kind of seen an arc like this before where it's like, oh man, like it's going to take forever for these tools to get in. But I think the mindset of a lot of these executives and leaders is like, no, like the whole construct of what we know is like enterprise is completely crumbling beneath our feet, right? And what does that look like moving forward? So I do think there's going to be, you're going to see more, like Luis's email from Duolingo, right? You're just going to see more of these, right? And I think it's just like, it's kind of inevitability. So I think that's the thing, for us as designers, just to kind of have that mindset that's like, even at the top, it's like, that's what like every company is thinking about, is this AI transformation. So it may be a thing where it's going to be like radically accelerated and like just figuring out like really bold ways to move faster on this.
Yeah, David, I'm really curious. Like outside of Loom, which recent Atlassian acquisition, I think Atlassian paid a billion, I want to say, or something like that. Outside of Loom, like where do you think Atlassian is leading when it comes to kind of converting some of the existing product stack into more AI driven workflows within kind of the product suite that you guys have?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, I think Loom was one Instagram is kind of what it was, but yeah, I think I'm biased, of course, but I'm personally excited about Rovo, which if people don't know, it's a new that's what I work on, right? Is Rovo's Atlassian's like AI product experience, and really kind of thinking about not only like the first party experience of Atlassian's products that people know, like Confluence, Jira, some of this other work, but really kind of building search, chat, and agents as part of the Atlassian suite. And I think I've always viewed, I always tell people Atlassian's as old as my career. Like I started using like the first versions of Jira, Trello, Confluence, and all this other software. And I think the thing that's really the differentiator for Atlassian is that teamwork foundation and that context of how people work. Now applying AI to that, I think that's our bet, right? Is thinking about how do you take knowledge management, like put it in action with not only like developer experience and empowering knowledge workers with agents. To me, that's like, and Loom is a big part, because I kind of view, I'll tell you like how I use Loom internally. It's like really taking a lot of these transcripts and being able to kind of summarize it in a little bit of way. So Loom's almost kind of become this AI recorder for us to capture a lot of this content.
Yeah. And so is Rovo just an agent that sits across all the product suite, like Jira and Confluence and Trello and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's agents. It's more than that too. It's just like a it's our model layer, but it is kind of the facilitator of a lot of the stuff that we have across our first party apps, but across the third party too. And you're seeing other companies like explore this space too. What I'm most excited about is with agents and MCP, model context protocol. I don't know if it like brings down the entire walled garden of like enterprise partnership, but it certainly builds a bridge. And that's really cool to really think about like, hey, I think this is my personal opinion. We're moving towards a world where walled gardens and vendor lock's not a thing, right? You can switch from one cloud IDE to another. And I think the people are going to win is the people who like empower the users and find those ways to partner. So MCP is pretty cool, where it's like you can go from from using Claude to say, hey, update this Confluence page or this Jira work item.
So I'm curious to hear because, and Devin Fountain calls this out. If David goes to a new place, that place is a sure bet. I'm sure that's nice to hear that. But there are a lot of people who've watched you move through these different companies, and you've kind of been early working with their AI initiatives, and it's clear you are being very intentional about which companies you're really placing your bets with, probably because you can now. What are you looking for? Like what we just came off talking about, these younger generation who are coming out and just taking major swings. And we're going to talk about Zuck's recent bets that he's making. What are you looking for in characteristics of the kind of bets companies are making?
Yeah, first, way too kind of Devin to say that. But I'll be honest with you guys, and I'll put it out here live stream. I think a lot of people were surprised when I went to Atlassian. And for me, I really kind of looked at it, and I kind of looked at all the things I've done, throughout my career, right? Just no code, AI. And then I think the thing that got me really excited about Atlassian is, again, that teamwork foundation, because I think what's going to be most important is then what does the shape of teams and collaboration look like, and really kind of help, in a human first way, just like help teams to be more effective, right? We're not trying to build like super intelligence at Atlassian. We're just better sentient tools for people, right? Like make it easier for me to use Jira, right? Or maybe there's a different like context layer where I can really be like interacting with the AI, so the AI can be using Jira, and that way, and that's a win. And so for me, I think what was really important for me, kind of deciding where to go next, was just a company that was really acknowledged how much things are going to change and transform, invest in it. And then I think also like the the willingness to be persistent in it too. At startups, it's so volatile, so hard to kind of find product market fit, maintaining runway while trying to like have access to all these resources, compute partnerships. And to me, this was like a really obvious company that had that infrastructure in place for us to be able to go to really work on this experience remodel of what it looks like in this AI first world.
Are you guys finding that you're able to prototype or do any sort of AI, some of these AI production tools into your process, or are things a little too kind of established already for those tools to make sense for your team?
No, we certainly are. I would say, one of our favorite prototyping tools is Cursor. And you can grab a Figma file and, find an MCP server and really kind of use it in Cursor, right? I don't think it's the future, because it's like everyone says like you don't have to learn to code anymore, but yet things still really look like IDEs, man. Like, and again, this is where I think I'd gander to bet, just my time at Webflow, my time at Replit, there are very few people who've seen the spectrum as much as I have. And I think that's where we want to continue to push. But to your point, I think, again, just being able to get the stuff in, it's a really interesting time right now, because how many like UI patterns have we seen? What are you going to build today, right? There's probably like 12 plus of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
And who's going to win, right? Like it's too early to tell, in my opinion. And it's almost like the time it takes to bring that stuff into work, it could completely change. So I think for me, it's always kind of like find the things that are enduring. And for us, like the AI team, Cursor and Figma have been like pretty great for us, even just to get prototypes in, start integrating with our LLMs and prototyping against that.
This is a great segue for me to tell you all about Bolt. No, I'm kidding. David, I want to throw a real deep cut at you real quick. So many people probably don't know this, but you have one of my favorite, most purposeful Obsidian routines and workflows. Okay, shout out Obsidian here. I'm curious, man. Are you still doing that today? And has AI kind of found its way into your Obsidian yet?
Yeah, there's a AI plugin called Sidekick that is pretty cool for Obsidian. But what's interesting? I think when you think about AI, you have to think about how it augments the way you think. And this is going to be like very different for different people, right? So Amjad at Replit, he was like, I tried taking handwritten notes. Nope, I'm going to use Granola just to like record everything and remember it. For me, just the way my brain works is like I just get overwhelmed with so much information where it's like I really have to kind of, whether it's intentionally writing out, like refactoring the notes in Obsidian. So what's interesting is, though I use AI in a lot of different areas in my life, writing is the one that I do not, because I think for me, I just kind of want to make sure that it's, you know, always like one step removed, like just directly connected with me and the way I want to write. Right. So I really don't use those like the generate email reply. So it's still like, I would say 95% of my writing is still just my own, just because of that, and just the way I need to kind of think about things. So I think that's a steer for us to remember. It's just like figure out what AI use cases work for you, right? You don't have to use everything. There's just things that's like, nope, it's not going to work for me.
It sounds like you're definitely not a plansterbator.
Plansterbating.
I've never heard that. Is that
we found this word earlier.
That related to sperm racing? Or?
Yeah, maybe. It all ties back to Notion.
Oh no, David. Hey man, so you're going to be around next week, right? At Config, you're going to be hanging out. Where can we find you? Where are we going to see you? Come say hi.
I mean, I'll be around. It's wild. It's like that week is really, people call it the Coachella for designers, and it's like, you know, at Moscone and around. I'll be at Config itself. You know, there's a lot of Atlassians that are going to be there. Like we're speaking on the leadership panel, but I'll be around. I'll just tell people this, just like, come say hi, right? Even if I'm talking to someone, like say hello. I know for a lot of people, maybe it's the first time at a conference. It may feel a little like lonely or kind of nervous, but I think you'll see me walking around. So, you know, anything within that like 8-block radius of Moscone Center, I'll be there probably Monday through Friday.
Sweet. Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Well, I will be sure to say hi to you, David. Thanks for joining us, man. Loved hearing from you. We will see you next week.
All right, thank you so much. See you next week.
All right, see you. Oh man, I'm telling you, it feels like the last week of school. You have FOMO? You feeling kind of left out there, Hunter?
No.
He says not.
Here, can I be honest with you? Yeah, I am. No. I am. Okay. But I just like, here's my thing. And maybe I'm just getting old, right?
Yes.
Like, I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I texted you this yesterday. I said, I kind of want to go to Config. Like, that would be fun. But then I would have to explain to my wife that I'm going to go out of town and make sure she's okay. And then I'd have to like book a plane ticket, and then I'd have to like book a hotel, and then drive to the airport, and then wait, and then sit on the plane for 4.5 hours. Like, at this point, I'm over it. Like, I'm dude, like, and I travel all the time. But you know what's funny? Over the past year or two, I've started to drive everywhere.
Weird.
It's like it's a 15-hour drive.
Behavior.
Easy. Got it. I'll drive. You know, I don't know, man. I think it's because I've spent too much time on planes. That's what fair. It is.
But
dude, David's
fantastic, and I love getting perspectives like his from kind of the other side, where we talk to a lot of indie builders, we talk to a lot of designers who are working on corporate teams. But we don't talk a lot about that collaboration piece. You and I are still trying to figure out as a small team how to best collaborate in these things. I saw somebody recently kind of vibe coded a chat app that was almost dual purpose. So he and his wife could both interact with the chat app at the same time. It was like split fiction chat GPT. And yeah, and even like little things like that, this little collaboration gap is kind of a question mark right now. David was talking about different UI patterns coming out. I think we're going to see a better multiplayer pattern emerge, and I don't know what it's going to look like yet, but I'm excited for it. But there are people placing bets. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to. Speaking of that, this is a perfect segue into this. I saw this prompt earlier today. And you just reminded me of it. So I ran it just a second ago while we were sitting here to see what it would tell me. The prompt is, okay, based on everything you know about me, what's a cool AI agent SaaS I can build that would be beneficial to me and is based on my interests? Now, this is very topical to a lot of the stuff that we've got going on right now. You and I with release notes and the newsletter we're launching and all the stuff I'm doing for YouTube and Today in Design, whatever. So I'm curious, like how much recency bias plays into this, but it told me build a content ops AI, a multi-agent SaaS that auto curates, formats, schedules, and publishes your design newsletter plus video content pipeline. It plugs into Beehive, YouTube, Slack, and Notion. I don't know about Notion. Runs on LangGraph based agents and sells as a done for you AI producer subscription. And then it goes into all this this interesting stuff here. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I'd have to look at this a little bit more, but just that concept of like, hey, using everything you know about me, what should I build to make my life easier? Seeing if you agree with it, and then popping open like a bolt or something and saying like, hey, like let's start, scaffolding this out. Dude, that's the future.
So I created a founder sidekick, chat GPT or GPT rather. And it's got a whole bunch of rules. And anytime I punch an idea through it, it runs through a no bullshit checklist. That's what we call it. And it to basically say, is this worth putting my time into? And if so, it scaffolds out the most minimum viable like Notion workspace and things I need for it. It's pretty slick. And it looks a lot like that.
I like that. Are you willing to show us like what you've done for the custom?
Yeah, let me look and tell you right now. Let me pull this up here.
Because I want to see this.
I gotta hide my erotica requests that I like to do late night writing with.
You got to stay away from the Sperm Racing.
This is my founder sidekick here. Let's do this. Let's ask it a question. What do we have going on? I need to create a email newsletter workflow for release notes that goes live Tuesdays and Fridays. A look of things to come. Let's see what it does here. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm in ChatGPT 4.0. This is not my sidekick. Come now. Come now.
I don't even know how to use your own sidekick.
And you wanted to see, and I will show you behind the hood here in just a second. But the big thing is this has been pretty helpful. I do want to tweak it because it's pretty optimistic at times. And so is this brand defining or leverage applying? Yes. I get a lot of green lights, which I don't love. And I've continued to try and tweak it. Can it be delegated 80%? Can it be automated or templatized? Does it maintain momentum? And would I brag about it to another founder? That's our no-brainer matrix, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that matrix.
We continue to go down. All right. The recommended workflow, release notes, weekly leak engine. Here's the cadence. It breaks it down for me. System setup. All right. Here's what you need. You need a curate and capture workspace. These have these columns in the Notion. Then you need like a weekly workflow template. So it goes into this. And then at the end, it's like, would you like me to generate that Notion ready template now? I say, yes, please do. I would like to make some coffee while you do this. And then it just starts to bang this out for me. It gives me little, this is the actual template for the issue itself, right? But I'll have it create the Notion workspace, things like that. I'll show you what this looks like. If we go in here to the edit GPT, I've got a lot of documentation in here.
Yeah. A lot of instructions, yeah.
And then I give it kind of the no-brainer matrix in here. And I give it also has what I call my Tommy's rules or Tommy's laws, things that have to remain true in everything we do, which is a little bit of what you saw inside of that prompt. So I'm working with this. It's been really helpful, actually. But again, it's one of those things, as you use it, you find the room for opportunity. You've talked about being able to have it scrutinize your ideas a little bit better because it is such an optimistic little bot.
It is very agreeable.
Yeah. Oh, and I gave him a little, where's my, I can't pull it up. I made him an avatar, a little personality. Oh, there we go. There's my dude.
I like that guy. He's a vibe,
you know? So that's been the way I'm using these workflows. What is it you say, by the way, to get it to scrutinize your ideas better?
There are a lot of things. I'm actually happy to share that here in a second.
Devin had a question.
But Yeah, Devin wants to know, Tommy, do you actually follow this too, or is it purely experimental? If yes, what have you
Yeah.
used it
So
on?
in the last 3 weeks, I have meaningfully used this. Like I've invested thousands of dollars at the almost discretion of my little founder Sidekick. I've made contractor hires. I've moved priorities around in my business. I've used it to help me plan the production we're shooting in June. I've used it to plan the UX tools redesign and survey and actually manage that. I've used it to build out like a contractor roster, a lot of little things. I'm not going to lie to you. Since I started using this, my revenue and my operation have seen like 5x. Truly, like actually.
5x.
No, 5x. I put two things in the same category, and that's wrong.
Okay. Let's yeah. We'll come back to that. I want to dive into something real quick. Can I do a little shameless plug? I just got to share this with somebody. I just got to share it. The off menu crew. When I say the off menu crew, there is an off menu crew. They're all very talented, but above all is Mr. Peternol. And Peternol, shout out, co-founder off menu, head of design off menu, lifelong best friend. He's the unspoken design hero that the world needs. Tommy, can I show you the new Today in Design that we're going to be
I want to
piloting
see
on
it
Monday?
right now.
I'm going to show it to you right now. If I can figure out which window to share. How dare you? We're just going to share my whole screen. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to share my whole screen. Let's pull it up. Here it is. Okay. We got some fancy stuff going on, man.
That looks good,
stuff.
dude.
Okay. The logo, it is an Easter egg. It's a different cycling GIF for each episode, which is cool. We got a little, I stole this from UX Tools right here, little table of contents. Mood board. So Monday is all about curated work, featured designers. Monday, we want designers to start their week with like a fresh dose of inspiration with designers that have been featured. If Devin Fountain's nice to me, maybe I'll put him in here. But you get a little shout out of curated work here. We feature a designer, show you some of their work, little interview style here. And then we're going to do these deep dive articles. Tom Johnson, if you're watching, this is what I was referring to. But these little articles. So this one is actually how we design the new Today in Design. I thought it would be cool. We see all these designers do all this great stuff. I want to feature like, hey, if you just did this like sick project, like, will you just kind of take some like videos or screenshots, whatever, and just share what you did here, and we'll platform you. We'll hype it up. We'll show you whatever. If there's some cool tools you use to build this, let us know. We'll shout those out. So just kind of dropping this in here. Of course, we've got the obligatory ad spot, Play, baby. If you don't use Play, what are you doing? In the news, man, we're going to do some more news. We got some cool custom art styles that we're repping here. A little dither background action. And we're going to highlight some cool jobs. That's the big thing for me. I want people to get paid. And then I want them to smash this button right here, good, and say, I love this newsletter. But that's it. That's a little preview. That's a little preview of what's going on for Monday's new Today in Design. And then Friday is going to be even fucking crazy.
Is it going to be good?
Friday's going to be good. Yeah. Friday comes with a whole YouTube launch and everything.
So we're working on a little template, but I'm making it simple. I'm still keeping I'm bringing in the dark theme that I like. That's part of our new rebrand, but I'm trying not to be too heavy. I'm letting the images that we create speak louder. So like things like this with Andy Allen here, that we're going to really lean into the creative thumbnails on all parts of the assets. This is something fun. And so Tuesdays on UX Tools, we do a deep dive into a topic, usually with a couple heavyweights in the industry. We have a lot of interviews with people that we get to include. But then on Fridays, if you saw today, for example, we are dropping weekly leaks, and I just exposed RID in complete 4K and in flight. It was the first look that anyone's ever got an in flight. And by the way, if you weren't subscribed, you did not get the early access link with priority order. That's kind of what we're trying to bring to folks on Fridays. But you and I, Hunter, we've got release notes coming pretty soon, man.
We do. We have release notes coming on the 12th.
The 12th.
ladies and gentlemen, I got to be honest with you. We haven't written it. We haven't designed it. We haven't even thought about it. We might, I think, have a Beehive account set up, but that is it. So between today and the 12th, we've got to ship a badass newsletter for release notes because now we're on the line, man. We got a sponsor. We got to make them happy. We got a newsletter. That shit. So you all better subscribe. But it's time. We got Steven. He's going to show us.
This is I'm a little sweaty, dude. This is a big moment here because there's been a lot of movement and talk and teasing all over the internet about what paper is. A lot of speculation. Things couldn't be confirmed yet. You know, we're getting really hot takes from Steven, watching Image Gen flip from flagship feature to commodity. Great take, in my opinion. Really going into the fact that, you know, you've got people like Dan Petty talking about, hey, I tried paper today. Pretty nuts. Like, what is this thing? I can't wait for you guys to see it, right? Steven's been sharing little shader experiments, just dropping them on the internet, not saying anything else, driving me nuts. And then finally, we get just a little announcements like, hey, today we're excited to announce paper dev mode. My God, Steven, what is going on?
Hey guys, nice to be here. Thanks for having me on. We've been very grateful to have so much great attention and onto the paper product so quickly. And yeah, I'm stoked to share a little bit today. Hey Hunter, I don't think we've met before, so nice to meet you.
You too, Steven. And I'm excited to see paper. I don't even want to learn about you today, Steven. I just want to see paper. You know,
too bad. We'll be patient. I was watching a stream. David's great. I love David, and that was really
David's
cool.
Awesome.
And I'm having some of the same experiences with ChatGPT, being a little too optimistic.
Yeah. It makes me feel good. And I started making real decisions with it, and then I realized, wait a second, you're kind of a yes man.
Exactly.
I had to go back and fact check.
I think it's been doing it for a long time too. It's just now it's like extra, so we're noticing. But yeah. Well, let me run you guys through. Guys, just start at the beginning. I'll tell you what we haven't done very many public appearances. We've been a little cryptic about things, and I could just kind of tell everyone what paper is and what we're going after.
Yeah.
Cool. And can I share my screen? Is that
you can?
Of course you can.
Let's see. Figure out how to do this real quick.
I'll turn it on as soon as it's here. We'll let the people see. Here we go.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So paper is, well, I started it last September. So we've been working on it for about 9 months now. It was a bit of a reaction to, you know, whose problems do I want to solve? Who do I want to be on Zoom calls every day, you know, hearing about their problems and trying to figure out cool ways to solve them. And for me, that's creative professionals. And I started looking around a little bit, and I realized like design tools have not been moving for the past couple of years. You know, I don't think that's that controversial to say. We're big fans of, you know, Sketch and Figma and of course Photoshop before it, but for whatever reason, we've kind of fallen into repeating a lot of the same work. And so we're really interested in how do we bring more creativity back into the design workspace? How do we make, you know, it's a little bit of a contrarian take because everyone's going for like AI prompts to finish designs right now. And we're kind of like, well, let's spend a lot of time on gradients and color tools and you know, more of these deeper parts of design. Because honestly, I don't think it's going away. I think the new tools are great too, but I want to make sure that we have like really good tools for the fundamental parts of design as well. And so that's kind of like how we started going after it. Obviously, we put together a great seed round, amazing group of investors. David's one of our investors, angels, supported from really great people in the community. And this was something that was like going to be my side project. I was going to take a break from working, and I just started talking to a few people about it. And they're like, "Yeah, I think like this is the time that we need something like this," and it's really gone, you know, super well so far. And so we've been building for about 9 months. A lot's left to build. Design tools take a while, but we're off to a really good start. And you've obviously seen a lot of the stuff with shaders. So
I know that guy.
Let's get into it. I thought we'd have a little fun today.
All right, I like this.
So let me show you. So we think 2D canvases are here to stay. Like this fundamental model of interacting with UI is really good. We've had it for 30 years. I don't think it's changing even with AI here. So we're spending a lot of time just making sure little things like when you resize, you can resize by 1 pixel, you know, and like how things feel and the performance, it all needs to be Figma level or better, right? Like that's now table stakes. for anything that's coming next. And so in the browser, multiplayer, sharing, all of that stuff is table stakes for design tools. But we don't want to stop like where others have stopped, and we want to keep pushing forward. So I thought we'd have a little bit of fun today. If we'll make you a new avatar.
I'm ready for the glow up.
Let's do it. Okay, so I tweeted the other day about image gen becoming a commodity. Like Visual Electric's great, really cool tool. A couple years ago, or a year ago, it was the main feature was image gen, and now image gen's in Figma. Obviously, ChatGPT can do it. It's like really become table stakes. So we of course have it too, but try to think about like how does it fit into workflows? How do you actually? Because once you generate an image, you need consistent styles. So the ChatGPT did a nice job with this. The new model is pretty good. So pick a movie. Let's go like Lord of the Rings, Tron. Tommy, you have a favorite universe?
Oh yeah, Lord of the Rings is great.
Let's do Lord of the Rings. Okay, so let's do a fantasy style illustration in the Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Let's see what happens.
Okay.
And then ChatGPT tends to take a while, so I'll also make us a Lord of the Rings landscape.
I love that too. You can just have operations. Oh, look at this, man.
So one of the things we're doing with this is exposing models. And this is a little controversial. Like sometimes people are like, no, just make that decision for the user. But we really want to be a professional design tool. And I think part of that is letting people have control over things. And so when you generate something, you get a variety pack, which is 4 different models at once. And you can feel they have like different strengths and weaknesses, right? So you can kind of get a feel for like which direction. I think this one's pretty cool. Maybe we'll pull this one out, work on this one a little bit. One of the key things I want to do here is like the flow, the creativity can just be like really free flowing. And at the same time, you can also use code components too.
Nice. Yes.
Cool being an elf.
I have elf ears. I'm a Dungeons and Dragons DM. So yes.
Oh man, no way. We even got the tattoo on there. Let's this is a tricky one. I'm going to go ahead and try to remove the background. We'll see what happens just to play around with it.
What model are we using right now?
For remove background is we studied a ton of them, and I honestly forget the name. I think tried like 20, and we just picked the one. I mean, it did a nice job actually.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we really want all the tools to just be, I think a lot of people want to go in and brush, which we'll support too, but I want the default tool to just do a good enough job if we can.
Yeah.
So okay, we got this. This is pretty good. Let's bring you into our Lord of the Rings universe. Let's mix in some shaders, the topic of the hour. So shaders are a way that your graphics card can render really cool patterns that are pretty tricky to render, but it can do it really quickly. And so we're bringing these in, and they can be animated, they can be still.
Mm-hmm.
They're just another layer that you can do whatever you want with. Trying to think of like a good fantasy. This one's kind of magic. So you can imagine if you need to make some images for an OG tag or a Twitter post or whatever, we're going to pull this over. Let's use like a blending mode. Get something kind of cool going on.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And we're having a little fun here with like, let's get some like green.
I'm noticing how quickly you're zipping around this thing too. There doesn't seem to be any like latency, any lag.
It's a bit.
Is that working?
I think my stream froze. Can you all hear me?
I can. Yeah.
We can hear you.
I jinxed us. I'm digging the different options. Are you using WebGL? Is that what's behind the scenes there?
It is. Yeah. My stream.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm loving this, and it's making sense as I'm watching him zip around to see why Dan Petty was getting so excited. I have. Is this Unicorn Studio inside of Figma? Damn it!
It might be. It might be. What does this mean for your Unicorn Studio stuff partnership?
Man. I don't know what we're gonna do, dude. I thought Unicorn Studio was really capturing it, and then he just said, "Hey, that Unicorn Studio, that's a feature."
Yeah. I feel really obligated now to ask Steven, when is this integrating with Bolt.new? Like, what level of shill do we go for here?
Well,
I don't know yet.
the other question I have though is, he was talking about the fact that they have dev mode, paper dev mode just was part of the thing. So curious, how are we looking?
Yeah, let's see. So I've never used Restream before, but we'll make the best of it. Let's see.
We made sure to melt your machine with this.
Yeah. We're still live. Here we go. Back in. So, and again, like we're having fun with making you an avatar here, but the idea being the creativity, the ability to put together unique new visuals as quickly as possible, that you can create things that just are going to help you stand out, right, against all of the noise. And I think that's really important. And it's something that we've moved away from. Like we had that very vector phase, very flat design phase. And I think now there's a lot of appetite for like, let's make some cool stuff again. So that's what we're trying to do with this. And one of the things I was going to show you, so the paper dev mode was kind of a, tongue in cheek. That day was the little bit of drama around that. But everything we're doing here is actually already part of the web. So when you're building something in Figma, they're actually drawing it kind of manually. They don't use the web exactly. They use WebGL to draw everything. Everything in here is actually like a div. It's already part of the web. And we spend a lot of time to make sure performance feels great, resizing feels great. You're not going to feel that. But what's cool is that means you've already basically made a website in a way. And so you can right click anything, copy it as React, and get the exact code. This will be the code for the shader output. And what's cool is like this code right here is it literally exactly the code that is rendering, it's my line height, there we go, that's rendering the shader. So the designer, the person with taste, is now like getting the capability to make these decisions and ship that final asset all the way to production. I'm really excited about this. It's something you see in game dev where like a 3D modeler makes a model, that's what ships. Like I want to see more of that in the UI design space.
That is slick. I like that a lot. How much inspiration are you like, because so you had said design tools did slow down. Like it seemed like, I guess we're not going to see the next jump, but no, it seems like that's changing over the last 6-12 months. We've started to see people recognize these tools could be so much better. And people are getting really excited about this. And so the things you're integrating in here, and I was just joking because I'm such a Unicorn Studio fan. You're making tools and you're turning them into features inside of paper. That's what it seems like.
Unicorn Studio is sick, man. It's very powerful, right? Yeah. I think my bet, especially with the way AI is going, is that what's defensible in the future as a product, as a business, is the interaction layer. Like if we can spend time to make sure our pan feels better than everyone else's pan, and our zoom feels great, and it does exactly what you need, it gets out of your way. Those things are still hard to do and defensible. Shaders are hard to do and defensible. Anything that's like prompting to some result eventually gets eaten by the general purpose models. And so that's why we kind of started with, let's make a tool that feels really great to use. The zoom feels exactly like you want. Resizing is really good. We have auto layout, and it works like better than I think, some of the other options. And so making sure we have those fundamentals first, and then we can layer on top shaders, AI. We have a branch right now. I'm not going to show it to you, but there's a branch where we can generate UI from prompt, of course. And
why won't you show it to us?
It's early. That's like an experiment, because again, our focus has been more on making sure the fundamentals feel really good. Because if we have that platform that's like designers are like really stoked to use it, it makes their lives better, then we can start building these workflows on top of it. So again, we're 9 months in. Like I'm kind of like blown away by how much attention we've been, grateful to receive. But that's kind of our philosophy toward it.
So
I know as soon as you said that the prompt UI, Pietro Sciarano's ears started burning. He was like, huh?
So you guys are 9 months in. My question to you is, how far out are you from us getting our grubby little hands on that thing?
100%, man. So we're rolling out some invites this month, actually. And you can tell like there's still much to build, right? There's a lot of stuff that's missing, but you can start to get in there and build some things and give us some feedback. If you're interested in signing up for anyone watching, make sure to hit paper.design. There's an email link there. You can follow us on Twitter, of course. It's just @paper. And we're really interested. I don't like being closed. Everyone's like, let us in. I'm like, I want to. It's just, if you come in and there's things that are obviously broken or obviously missing, you're not going to have a good experience. I want to make sure that those things are in a good place.
Well, before you go, maybe we can maybe we'll work something out with you and get some of the listeners and the readers a couple of those invites, huh?
100%, man. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. See, I'm negotiating for you guys. I'm working for you. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to be selfish. I just want to invite myself. just invite me.
Steven, this looks sick. Are you going to be out there at the config week bouncing around?
I'm not. I would love to, just to see everyone, but we're so heads down, like trying to get this thing shipped. So we're gonna.
You kids have fun partying. We're gonna build the future. We'll be back in a moment. Yeah. Awesome.
Here.
All right, Steven, this is awesome, dude. I'm so excited. I can't wait. I'm going to reach out to you, get some invites for the folks here who want to try it out. That looks incredibly sick. Don't make Unicorn Studio obsolete yet, man. I was just starting to love it too.
No way, man. No, George is doing great stuff, and it's way more advanced in the shader world than we're doing. So 100% love Unicorn.
Awesome.
Cool, man. Really appreciate you guys.
All right, Steven. Have a great weekend, man. Good talking to you.
Steven, thanks for coming.
Woo! Man, I love watching these tools in action. Like, there are times where it's like, oh, we're gonna get a demo of a tool and it's like whatever, but that's the kind of thing I think for a lot of people, because we see a lot of this marketing hype. We were talking about Roy and all these great videos. By the way, Roy's got a great video editor. We need to ask who he is. But then the product is like, how does it work, or what is, like, it takes so long to get to the aha moment. And what I love about what I'm seeing in some of these design tools like Paper is like, we just saw an aha moment. Like that to me.
I think it's interesting, man. I'm excited. Hey, real quick, it's that time of the show. I gotta do the thing. I gotta do the cringe. I gotta do it. If you're watching the show, please go to YouTube, youtube.com/release notes something, release notes live. Okay. And subscribe. If you're watching the show on Twitter, please retweet the show. Tell your friends to come watch it. You got to make us look good, guys, so we can keep doing this. It's just how this works. It's what is my first million call it? The gentleman's agreement. It's the gentleman's agreement. So you got to do it. You got to smash that like button, retweet, subscribe. What else we got? Oh, today in .design. Go subscribe there. uxtools.co.
I'm trying to buy the .com. I've sent emails.
Go subscribe there too. Let us blow up your inboxes 24/7.
But that's what I love, though, and that's the thing I'm trying to do, is to get more access to these, because this is the thing, and you and I have seen this in this entire AI space. The number of really interesting tools that are kind of blocked because they're like, we can't go full live yet. There's some really cool stuff that's way ahead of the curve, and I'm like, how can I like get some access for some people? So we're gonna do a lot of that. We're gonna try to negotiate. We're scratch some backs to get you guys some invites. Yeah,
you got to do it.
Yeah.
Got to do it. All right, man. Let's keep talking. So you want to tell me all about Zuck and his attempt to get me fake friends?
Man, I'll tell you what. So, what do you know about what Meta and what Zuck and Gemini and all their initiatives? Like, what do you know about where they're at today as of May 2nd, 2025?
May 1st. Let's take it from the top, man. Tell me.
So the thing about Zuck is, and I had mentioned this, kind of having this, like, he had this moment where he got cool again. His shirts got a little looser. He went and bought a chain, and people were like, hey, he's relatable. And then he's coming out and he's not relatable anymore. He's a robot for sure, which is awesome. But what I like about it, what he's saying are the types of swings he's taking. And those swings, much like our youths that we spoke about earlier, those swings are kind of wild, right? And as clips, these sound kind of insane. I don't necessarily think they're that insane. And let me tell you a little bit of what Zuck's thinking. So he went and he's doing the rounds right now. He went on a couple of podcasts. He's even talking to like Theo Von, still trying to be cool and hip, It's whatever. You can be cringe all you want. I'm not going to bet against Zuck. One of the things that Zuck's coming out and saying, and listen, like we heard this from Anthropic's CEO, right, was that most code is going to be written by AI Except Zuck's timeline, the timeline's always different, right? Anthropic's CEO said 3 to 6 months, and he said that last month. So supposedly we're pretty close based on his prediction. Zuck thinks it's closer to 12 to 18. But it is interesting to see everybody essentially approximating in a pretty short-term window. And they're making their bets on that, right? Whether it's AGI or not, definitely think that that's happening. But more importantly, the thing that Meta seems to be banking on is the idea that a lot of these models are going to serve very niche contexts. And even though they're open, they're making like their models open source and they're trying to really get that out there, he seems really focused. Seems really focused on the consumer side, specifically social media being a city, and kind of the future of content. The future, imagine a world where you are scrolling a feed and each piece of content you can actually engage with almost like an AI mechanism, an interactive piece of content that you can talk to and use and work with. And this sounds kind of crazy because he says stuff like AI friends are just tools, and that most people want more friends than they have. They have about 3, but they want about 15. And the strange soundbite is that he wants to provide you with that other 12. And that sounds odd, but there's an element of this. And I've talked about this, okay? And I want to just show you for a second because I've regularly looked at this metaphor. In the early 90s, there was a chat application that, in my opinion, was way ahead of its time called the Palace. And on the Palace, you had a little avatar that navigated around a server. And there was a little written language called Ipscray that was created specifically so you could code interactions and lasers and all kinds of visual effects to just have fun with other people. You could upload graphics. People were going to Photoshop and creating these fully robust little avatars that they could hang out with. This thing was popping for a good minute, and I don't know the story of why it didn't go any further, but I'm so confused now when you hear people like Zuck say that AI is kind of the future of creativity. Really, his bet is that this is going to be the table stakes of how all humans are creative, and that more humans are going to become creative because of it. And if social media is in fact a city like this, I look at the Palace and I go, if the Palace was Web 1.0, like what is 3.0? Surely it's not just Roblox. Surely it's something even more engaging than that. And I don't think he's crazy for that thought.
Dude. Okay. I got some thoughts on this.
Let's hear it.
Okay. I don't know why this came to mind. Did you play Cyberpunk 2077?
I did. I didn't beat it, but I played a lot of it.
Okay. Did you get far enough in the storyline to where you met Panam?
Yeah. I'm at the place of no return, and then I never continued.
Panam Palmer is a romanceable character in Cyberpunk 2077. And when that game came out, one of the things that went crazy viral and had all the news is how many people were playing Cyberpunk and then got to that part of the storyline and felt attached, like emotionally attached to that character. Like that's like that's my girlfriend, like, you know. And I just remember that and being like, God, this is weird, but like, okay. I feel like that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about essentially NPCs that know you and are going to use all that information to exploit you to make you feel like you have some kind of a connection. And that's a Black Mirror episode or two right there. Like it just, I don't know. It feels a little strange to me.
Yeah. You think that that's going a little too far into the human connection piece of it?
I think so. Yeah.
That's certainly the bet they seem to be placing. And if you don't think that that's too far, how about the bet that they're placing on the neural wristband, right? This idea that, and he used the words almost mind reading, that they are trying to use wristband technology to measure the kind of electrical signal going up your nervous system to allow you to allow it to know what's going on with your body. This is something in the works right now that they're pretty far in the prototyping stage of. And that's kind of interesting to me. But if that's not enough, they are working with their AI glasses to continue being something that you could be walking around on a plane and having a full conversation on a phone call, but no one will ever hear it. So you could be having this entire conversation walking in public, and the goal here is that the glasses can hear what you hear, see what you see, kind of always be with you. And he thinks even the AI glasses are going to become a relic, a thing that was like, oh, those are AI glasses. That, and like eventually this is all going to merge into just, I mean, it's just
A
everyday
neural
stuff.
implant.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so is Zuck wild? Yeah. 100%. Is the future he maybe is chasing a Black Mirror episode? I could see the argument. But you know what? I want to go back to the youths.
The youths.
All right? Because the thing that I'm not going to become cynical over is somebody taking swings like this. Because I think there's another future where this doesn't have to be a Black Mirror episode, right? I don't think the future is technologically deterministic. And if that's true, the youths and people like Zuck are the ones I'm betting on, man, because this is interesting to me. And I do agree with his statement that this will become universal creativity. I think that's interesting. And we're seeing it. We're seeing the way these kids are just building and scaffolding up. Just, hey, I'm going to create some stuff and there's no big deal. Oh, by the way, I'm going to film it all. And like, what are you crusty, dusty hunters going to say about it?
Dude, it's stressing me out, man.
You look stressed. You look stressed. The meme of Hunter is negative looks like it's about to burst back out.
Here's why. Okay. The Theo Vaughn episode with Zuckerberg, Theo's like, oh, do you drink coffee? And Mark's like, no.
Yeah.
And then it's just the most awkward pause in the world. Like,
he says he raw dogs reality.
He raw dogs reality. I would never bet against Zuck. Okay. I'm not going to bet against Zuck. I'm not betting against Elon. I'm not betting against Sama. But I can't have a guy trying to produce AI friends for me if that man can't even enjoy a cup of coffee, you know? Like that's where I draw the line. It's like, listen, buddy, if we're making AI friends, like you got to at least meet me on some of the basic levels of humanity. You're a little too robot-y. Like I'm worried about it. It's weird. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably. Does that make me worried? Not really. Would I be like, yeah, dude, I want to have some cool ass AI glasses and yeah, I'm into that.
Are those Ray-Bans anywhere hanging around? Nothing.
I do not. No.
I've thought about it. You know,
I don't. You know those shots at sporting events where like everybody's got their phone out and then one guy is just like enjoying it with a beer, just watching.
Here we go.
I want to be that guy.
Are you that guy though?
Yeah, I'm not walking around with phones and trying to take photos of everything. It's not my style.
No, not even not you don't want the kids at sports grab a little snapshot.
Yeah, sure that, but that's a memory of my children that I want to capture versus like a moment that I'm just trying to like purely enjoy, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're just waving your stick at the kids, the youths.
Exactly. Dude, I want to run you through some news while we're here. Do you want to get hit with some news?
I do.
I have arranged this news from sort of kind of least interesting to most interesting. This is the least interesting news.
Okay.
But I almost don't believe it. In March, we announced that Dribbble was pivoting from an advertising supported community to a revenue sharing marketplace. In just 6 weeks, there's been a step function increase in transaction activity on Dribbble. All right, Constantine, designers don't say things like step function, but I'll let you have this one. Okay, orders increased by 115% from February to April. Well, what the hell is an order on Dribbble? Is that somebody buying freelancing services from a designer? I guess so. Clients increased by 102%. Designers increased by 108%. Global market value increased increased by 80%. Listen. Designers increased by 108%. Tommy, are you believing this? Do you think that?
Yes, only because I think they had maybe 50 and now they have 109. So I think that those numbers are realistic. I want to hear. Give me the full figure. Where's that at? Give me full figures.
We're not getting it. All I know is that if we did a mirrored image of this chart that was like designer sentiment starting high on the left, it would
Completely
just ramp
inverse.
bottom right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just gonna be down. So that's the most boring news we got. Second, Anthropic. Today we're announcing integrations, a new way to connect your apps and tools to Claude. We're also expanding Claude's research capabilities with an advanced mode that searches the web, your Google Workspace, and now your integrations too.
Yeah.
So basically what this is, Claude was like, oh, everybody really likes MCPs, which we created. So we might as well actually shove those in the interface for Claude. Really interesting. So this is basically a set of, I would say, verified MCPs that you can use directly within the LLM, which is pretty interesting. But then we kick that up a notch. Shout out Emerald Lagasse. Zapier MCP is now connected to Claude.
Yeah.
Okay? You can plug Claude into 8,000 apps and 30,000 actions using Zapier. Here are a few things you can now ask Claude to do: pull CRM data before a sales call, assign tasks in Asana or Jira, update spreadsheets across tools, draft and send emails in your voice without leaving Claude. Pretty interesting.
You use app? You make Zaps? Are you a customer?
I'm not a Zapper anymore, dude, because I have MCPs. I got Lindy's. I got Gum Loops. I can just like go build a quick app on Bolt that does stuff. Like I'm not zapping too much. But speaking of Bolt, Eric Simons is here. I don't see his video yet.
Yeah, I
don't know
think
if
he's calling in on the phone, man. He's
is he
traveling? Yeah.
Hold
Eric,
up. Can we do that?
what's up, Eric?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
There we go, my traveler. You already out there in you preparing for the big takeover in config, or what's going on?
Yeah. No, this weekend I got some personal travel, and then I'm back in SF, and next week is nuts. Yeah, because we're going to be at the Co-Create Design Conference on Sunday, and then obviously we got config. We got a booth at config. Proper is that like Wednesday? I think is the first day of config, and then. Yeah, and then that night we're throwing a concert.
I don't know how you do it, man. I mean, the things you're doing. So you have been just hot out the gate. And I want to ask you about this, all right? Because Contra and Bolt partnering up, you just talked about it. You got the hackathon coming up. Trying to set a Guinness World Record with this thing. Right? Like this is nuts. And I saw this hackathon come to life in real time on X. You're out here, you're gonna do the co-create speaking that you're talking about. Then you've got a giant party with the chain smokers. You're sponsoring, I think, most events happening around config next week.
yeah, it's kind of funny how that all came together, because like you guys had hit us up because you're running a really sick thing as well. So like next week, it's like I think you'd be hard pressed to be someone that's like a designer in San Francisco where you don't run into something that Bolt is involved in running or sponsoring.
And so, you ran a marathon last week, and just for funsies. I mean, dude, it's crazy. But on top of this, you're saying like traffic is surging on Bolts. I mean, it's so the one thing I'll say is this: it is clear that you guys, you're not just making investments into the marketing side, but you're making investments into the community surrounding this entire thing. And everyone that I've seen who's been doing that seems to really get it. And even when they've had to make a pivot or something, it's like they've got that group that continues to rock with them. What's kind of been your philosophy, and like how are you seeing community out here?
Totally. Yeah, I mean, because like the thing with us too is we were a web-based IDE for developers before we launched Bolt, right? Like we were about to shut down the company at the end of last year. I don't know if you guys have heard this whole story, but basically, like we weren't running out of money, but we've been at it for 7 years, just couldn't figure out how to actually monetize this. Basically we created this technology that lets you run dev environments in a browser. So I think like the Figma sort of canvas, but for engineers, right? Like where you can open a browser tab, it just boots instantly, etc. Really cool technology, just couldn't figure out how to monetize it. And then we came with the idea for Bolt, and we had no idea the reception that it was going to have. But so at the time when we launched Bolt, the company was doing 0.7 million of ARR after 7 years, right? Wow. And then within the first 2 months, we went from 0 to 20 million of ARR, right? And then in the quarter after, we doubled it. And so it's just been nuts. So I forgot your initial question now, but yeah, it's been quite a wild ride, and yeah, I feel like a good way to approach just things in life is to go full intensity across the board. So if you're going to go hard on work, go hard on the personal side, set great physical goals, set great family goals, etc. So you're asking about community, yeah. So all the way we're building community. And that's like, I think that's key, right? Because it's all, at the end of the day, it's all about the people, and so we invest a lot in that. It means matters. I think we invest, I think more than most any other companies that I typically look at, but it's like, that's how you make the product better. It's like listening to the folks that are using it, like having, making the time and space and interactions for folks to learn from each other, et cetera. So, yeah, I'm glad that's showing too through just our public actions.
And I can appreciate that you get your hands dirty, man. I mean, you're like, hey, I'm going to come out and I'm going to rep. I'm going to be the champion for bolts in this next Build Wars. No. I don't need someone else. Like, let me come out to this. And I think that's real indicative of just how you guys are doing this. Like, you're on the ground. There's a lot of questions about like, how do IDEs versus kind of these web building, where do those eventually converge, if ever? And how do you kind of move yourself into workflows when everybody's trying to track where this puck is going? I mean, I got to imagine next week we're going to hear some stuff from Figma that's going to make people talk, or maybe we've already heard enough leaks and it's not that new. But I mean, how do you think about it?
No, it's a good question, because like, every, to us, it's kind of no surprise that there's been a ton of text to app products entering the space. Like after we saw what was happening with Bolt when we launched it, because like we were like the first major kind of breakthrough success case there of like just rapid, user and revenue growth. And when we saw it happen, we were like, this is, as much as I'd love for it. It's like Bolt's the only thing ever that will let you go text app. There's going to be a lot of these things, and they're going to naturally, I think there's just going to be specialization on what sort of like workflows and use cases they're serving. Right. So you look at like, Canva released I think it's called Canva Code.
Canva Code. Yeah.
So, you kind of look at what they're doing there, at least today. And it's like, they're not doing sophisticated design or like, actual app development. This is like, hey, I want to make a website for my kid's soccer team, and I need just something extremely basic, right? And that kind of caters to the audience that they're going after. Whereas you look at, I imagine what we're going to see from Figma is going to be something that's, I would imagine a bit more in tune with designer, like, actual professional, UI UX designer workflows. And so, yeah, I think for us, we, kind of the slant that we're looking at is really in the realm of, probably similar-ish to what Figma is probably going to be wanting to be doing at least. But like basically rapid app development, instead of spending a ton of time dragging around frames in Figma to make prototypes, go and just create a great design system and then pull that into Bolt and then go and actually build a real full stack app in 5 minutes with it and get that in the hands of customers and, users and whatever have you, get real feedback and iterate, so that's kind of where our focus is.
You guys have had obviously the recent update really leaning into making the generation of the UI feel a lot better, being a little bit more customizable. How far do you see yourselves leaning into bringing that visual editing experience, closer to some of the patterns maybe we've seen on other design tools? Is that something you guys are prioritizing?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? Because it's like it's something we're looking into, and there's a lot of companies that are kind of that are like text to app things. Like one that comes to mind is like Tempo Labs, where they're really leaning in hard right now on that kind of convergence and kind of the trick that from my view at least, and like we're all this stuff is so early, like subject to change, but like I think kind of the beauty of the text-based prompting is that it's so fast to articulate, it basically, if you're sitting next to a designer or an engineer, you're just like, just go and make the button blue, go move it over there. You can kind of just like say it versus having to manually go and use some GUI that you know you have to like learn how to use and blah blah blah. So I think there's kind of like a it's like what we're kind of looking into is how do you kind of make a blend where the anything where you're you know any sort of like canvas based graphical interface is extremely simple to use, like to the degree that it has to be way faster to do it in that interface versus just prompting. And that just isn't the case with a lot of, you know, if you look at heck any of the, you know, WYSIWYG type things out there, whether it's Canva or Figma or, you know, Webflow or whatever, it's just like you have to be pretty proficient at that tool to use that interface, whereas with Bullet you do not. And so we kind of want to lean more that direction, but it's not immediately obvious how you kind of leverage what LLMs can do and kind of project that forward into interfaces around them, you know? So, yeah. But yeah, we're definitely interested.
Is there a world in which we get a new addition to Bolt to where we can essentially see kind of our page on an infinite canvas and maybe just, you know, text to prompt to see other iterations of that page kind of populate on the canvas as our kind of quote unquote design experience driven by prompting. And then we can kind of narrow into like, okay, let's go with this page or let's use this other element from that version you did, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah, totally. Right. Because I think that it strikes me that that's definitely a direction that we're going to go, you know, because there's areas where the prompt based interface just breaks down, especially when you're trying to like lay out more complex workflows, right? Where it's like this page feeds into this one. When you click this, it does this. Because otherwise you're having to like convert that to text, which is, you know, if you're having to design something, you know, in Figma from just bullet points that, you know, someone hands you, it's like kind of hard, right? Like, it's like, okay, wait, that thing, like when you click that, it does this thing over here. So it's like kind of easier if you can just like wireframe it out or lay it out or whatever have you. So yeah, because it's all about just like, okay, what are the parts of the workflow that typing out text is actually not high fidelity enough for, and is actually it's a huge pain and there's a lot of fidelity loss, and therefore the AI goes and, you know, does stuff that is you know, not the correct thing to do. Those are the areas where it's like, okay, great. This actually makes sense to add an interface where the user can lay it out in a very specific way that should lead to a more deterministic outcome from the AI agent, you know?
Well, I think it's one of the, and to your point about making the interface simple and like not getting bombarded by the overwhelm of like opening Adobe After Effects, right? For you guys, one of the things that really hit home early for me was one-click integrations with like Supabase. I know you've introduced some other one-click integrations. Like, how far down this idea of one-click boom are you trying to go? Like, do you have a lot of other types of integrations? Is there something more robust around that metaphor that you're thinking about?
Yeah, I think, you know, honestly, I think we've now kind of covered the 80-20 of it, where, you know, going in, because yeah, like with Supabase, we've got, you know, full database authentication, you can run backend functions, etc. So it's tangible. You could kind of build almost any type of SaaS business there. We also rolled out a native Stripe integration, which is I have not seen anything that's at all close to what we rolled out there, where you just like pop in your API key and it'll automatically populate your products into it, etc. Set up all the webhooks properly.
I don't think non-developers, like vibe coders, probably can't appreciate just how crazy nice that one-click Stripe integration is. Because Stripe integration is a pain in the ass.
Oh, it's terrible. Like, even as a developer, right? It's like you know, when we were building, we were like, God, it's kind of crazy that this hasn't, even for just developers, that something hasn't existed that just, because it's all largely the same kind of glue code that you end up making for all this stuff.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's actually insane. Like we did a live stream, I think like a week ago or something, where we're just kind of showing the latest features of the product. And so I was like, you know what, let's make an actual business here live, where we sell a course online, you know, like a video course or something. And we're like, instead of using some platform that takes half of our revenue, let's just make one. And in literally 5 minutes, it was like 5 minutes end to end, went from no app at all to having a deployed application where you put in a credit card and it's going through Stripe and gets you access to the thing.
That is sick.
So for us, it's like I think that we want to make the best experience for folks to build actual like SaaS products and businesses that are stunning, that actually make the money. And it's you can go to Bolt right now and like literally in 5 minutes have a business where you are taking money from folks through Stripe. And so to me, that's we're going to keep doing more stuff to keep shorting that and improving the again, a key word there's like stunning. Like we want you to be able to make amazing product experiences. And so I think a lot of it now is just the last mile of this, where you just keep making it better and better and better. Yeah, I think to me it's like that's in the design world. Like I want to do this build wars with Brett, like because I actually really like. I've been kind of like poking him like just playfully. I actually really like him. I think he has a great perspective around these kind of the previous non-AI tools like Webflow or whatever. If you are an amazing designer like he and I have all the people that are probably tuning into this, right? It's like if you're a master of those, you can make incredible things, and today in the AI world, it's like, you can get like 80-90% there, but there's still so much room to make them even more, accessible, affordable to folks that have phenomenal design taste and creativity. So that's like where we're focusing a lot of our effort. It's just like, how do we really make it the best tool for designers to, be augmented to, release their visions, right?
I think what we need, honestly, hearing you say that, Eric, what we need is a time for you to sit down live on the stream, paired up with a designer, whether it's Brett or it's somebody else, and almost like this melting of the minds of hey, here's all the best hacks of using Bolt to get really great experiences really quickly. And a designer in real time to be like, okay, here's the things that I'd be trying to do at this point in Figma. Like, how would I kind of get those things out of Bolt? I think that would be such a neat thing to see. And I haven't really seen anybody tackle, builders like Bolt from that viewpoint yet. That's content that I want to see. I want to create that content, but I also want to see that content.
I'm game. Yeah. And like, there's some folks that have, some really awesome design folks that have been, or I should say like design oriented folks have been picking up Bolt and, building amazing things. Like just pushing the design capabilities. Like we released an update a week or two ago that like really up leveled it.
Yep.
And they're making stuff where our team's like, how the hell are like, what are they prompting,
Yeah.
And so like, I would actually be kind of curious to like, I can go ping those folks, but I like, we ourselves are like, we want to get those folks in a live stream and just have them kind of share what they're up to.
Yeah. No, I got it done already, Eric. I mean, look at this. Day one, sponsorship paying dividends. Brett's in the chat. He says, let's do it.
Boom.
So there we go.
Hell yeah. Let's go. Awesome.
I love it. And I want to call out Relume paired with Dan Petty, Brett, and a few other folks to create font packages that they released in their product. I thought that pairing was so sick. What if Bolt paired with some hitters and was like, these are the prompt packages or the kind of scaffolds of some of your favorite AI builders or hitters?
Dude,
like there could be something cool there.
That is genius.
Hell yeah.
There needs to be a design joy set in Bolt, an off menu set. We gotta get a Fonz man set in Bolt. These like kind of pre-built configurations of like, here's the typography, the spacing, like all these little details that make a design shine. If we just had like those custom CSS or Tailwind rules, like ready to rock and roll.
It's like Bolt. Artistic styles.
Dude,
almost,
yes.
Yeah.
Eric, can we do that? That would be sick.
Yeah, we absolutely. Like we have the ability to have like custom starter projects. Yeah. So it's like, that is sick. I love that idea. Like having custom kind of like, themes basically people can like spawn off of. And it's like, you can kind of provide custom instructions where it's like how to best use these right from the design output. That sounds sick. We should totally do that. That'd be a lot of fun.
I love that. We'll shoot you a Slack on that. I think, man, like obviously we got our thing with you. We've been coordinating. The thing that it reminds me most of that Bolt is doing, you guys are almost taking a Framer-esque angle to how you're thinking about doing things for the community, except you're doing it with a way bigger war chest, and it's awesome to see in real time. I love it, man. And I think there's so much to do there in terms of saying, hey, like, we're not trying to replace designers. We're trying to empower you to like take the ideas that you have in your head and just run with them way faster. So I think the more features and kind of content that can be created for that community, the more we're going to see Bolt shine over, fish in a barrel like Lovable.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I think, for us, it's just like going and like focusing on how do you actually empower designers? Because I think to me, it's like, it's not about, is this tool better or is that tool? It's like, these things are going to be great for certain types of workloads and others. And like, I think in the AI world, there's just so much to do as far as how to really empower designers to like go and punch out amazing apps. Like that to me is what's super cool. Is like, I think it makes so much sense that design folks should be using AI tools, and the tools need to catch up to the point where they're able to, again, where you can express your ideas and creativity to the degree you can in Figma or Webflow or whatever. But what you get out of these is real apps, right? Like for the first time, the designers typically, unless they know how to code, which I would, a lot of folks don't, they would have to have a developer. You can only have your ideas go through the tips of another person that is not you. And and there's so much lossiness in that, where it's like, oh God, they missed this slight animation. They missed this slight, it's like, that's what makes like awesome product experiences, like the small details. And so anyway, I think just kind of converging that where, the actual people that know how to build and design great products the best, which are like PMs, designers typically, and have direct control over the entire end-to-end experience. I think that just strikes me as the obvious future that's got to happen, right?
Yeah.
So
give me some GSAP library templates and some Anima JS templates. Give me like that interaction piece that's easy to kind of point and click. Oh man, that would be sick.
Hell yeah. So someone on Twitter is actually getting GSAP going in Bolt right now because I think they just made it free and open source or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, we're going to see how well that works. We're going to be tweaking it over the weekend, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, Eric, man, I'm stoked to see you next week. That's going to be a lot of fun. Stoked to be working with you, and just thanks for jumping on the phone here. How many more marathons are in your future?
I've got like 2 this year, and I want to do another like full Ironman, but I just, the time requirement to do those things, it's like 6 hours a day on the weekend that you're on it's just I just don't have the time in my life right now. But
that's
understandable. Not time for like marathons or whatever. But I'm stoked to see you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun, and if folks here are going to be in SF for Config, we would love to have you at the concert. If you go to like hackathon.dev, I think there's a link to the sign up for the concert. And but yeah, looking forward to it, and love the booth at Config for anyone that's going to be there. So
hell yeah. Man. All right, well then we'll see you next week, Eric. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me. All right, have a good one, y'all.
See you, dude.
Oh, dude.
Look at us.
He's a marathon man. That dude, he's like, oh, how many marathons you got? The dude is just on a perpetual marathon. He's been doing it for 7 years.
That's crazy.
And then they finally hit 7 years in there at 0.7.
Dude,
and then he hits 20 mil.
Yeah. No, he said he doubled. So let's take this back. So you're grinding for 7 years. You get to 700K in annual recurring revenue. You say, you know what? I got an idea. We're going to build this new thing called Bolt. And you go from 700K in ARR to 40 million ARR. And it sounds like you said it's 4 months.
Yeah.
Right?
That
is wild, man.
That is
absolutely wild.
That is
Adrian asks, how old is Eric? I think he's mid-30s.
Yeah.
Devin says, actually, GSAP can no longer be using competitive tools. I hope Eric knows that.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought they open sourced it.
There is.
Or it was, and
open source, and then there's something else, and then you know what I mean. Has anybody here watched The Studio on Apple TV?
Is it good?
It's really good.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is in the first episode, Seth Rogen wants to do a movie about Jonestown with Martin Scorsese, but the CEO of the studio is like, yo, you got to make a Kool-Aid movie. And so he's trying to connect that dot of like the Kool-Aid, Jonestown, whatever. And the CEO is like, I heard you spent $10 million to buy this script from Scorsese, And obviously we would never, why did you do that? Like, we can't make a Jonestown movie if we're going to try and make a Kool-Aid movie. And so Seth Rogen has to just kill it. So he's got to Scorsese's face, be like, yeah, I bought your script just to kill it. Dude, if Webflow did that to GSAP, like I bought it just to kill it, and you can't use it outside of Webflow,
That would be a
then
travesty, dude.
absolute.
I mean,
burning of the
listen,
bridge.
Anime.js already looks really slick though too. So at
Yeah.
this point, like our interaction libraries are coming in hot this year, and I'm excited to see who takes king on that. Oh,
Devin
man.
says the studio is really freaking good. The Oneer is a hilarious episode.
Okay.
Kyle says studio is so good and so stressful. I wasn't done with my news segment. I want to get back on my news segment real fast, and then I got some other stuff to say. Okay, I got a big announcement to make as we wrap up the episode. Heijin just dropped voice mirroring. Now your AI avatar can copy any tone and styles. Zero robot vibes. I'm not going to play the video because people won't be able to hear the audio, but this is wild. So you can just straight up feed it voice audio, and the avatar handles it perfectly. Same intonation, tone, all those things. Really, really cool feature. Friend of the show, Sahil Lavingia, no longer hiring senior or even staff level software engineers. If you love building stuff, you can contribute to our open source. And if you want to get paid, it's way better to co-found your own thing and hire AI software engineers yourself than to work for me or anyone else.
What a guy.
Whoa.
That's a hell of a we just shut down all flow here. Like, go build something, nerds. That's intense, man. That's how many months removed from when he said he was done hiring seniors?
I mean, like 2 months or something?
That was fast. He was saying juniors only. Now he's just saying nobody.
Yeah.
None, nada.
You know, I get it. It's a discussion that we've been having internally. I think I kind of let this slip a while ago, but the boys at Off Menu quietly have launched an AI dev service offering, which is doing 6 figures. It's pretty great. And the man, I'll tell you this. I'm not going to name names, but another studio that's out there that's got some attention on the internet may or may not rhyme with like things you do with an oven. We inherited a project that their crew touched, and dude, they didn't even have unit tests. They didn't have a CI/CD pipeline. There's no staging. They're just literally shipping code straight to production that actual customers are using. And it's like, you know, all these vibe coders, they have no fucking idea what they're doing. And go ahead, dude.
Well, I was going to say, you just reminded me of a certain studio out here that kind of made the waves recently and was saying they were a lovable studio. And then Bolt came in, and I don't know what they did, but basically sponsored a studio. That studio is now putting together the Avengers of different designers and developers on X, and they are becoming a Bolt studio. And that's pretty insane to me. Did you see this?
I saw this, but I don't think you're right.
What am I wrong about?
I don't think they're becoming a Bolt studio or a lovable studio. I think that they're, honestly, man, I think that they're trying to sleep in both beds.
Okay.
And I don't like it because I've seen the product offering. I'm not impressed. You know what I think I'm going to do, just out of my own frustration? I'm going to go full tilt with Off Menu and just be like, yo, like, let the grown-ups handle this now.
Okay. All right. So Off Menu. So it sounds like you were having a little bit of an identity crisis, not sure how deep into kind of the services side of that you wanted to stay for a minute there. It was like, are we going to continue to operate this way or not? It sounds like the bet you're leaning towards making is delivering on AI development.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanos with all 5 Infinity Stones, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All 5 are what? Like you got lovable, bolts, what, windsurf, cursor.
dude, I get rubbed the wrong way by Lovable, so that's not one of them. But yeah, I think there's a lot to do, man. But enough about me. Let's talk about this. What a show! What a show!
I am very excited for next week, guys. I'm going to be your ground correspondent in San Francisco. Listen, we're pretty plugged in. I think I have a pretty good idea of what they're going to announce next week. It's all but been confirmed. And I think we're going to have a lot to talk about to see what's what. So to do so, we're going to have some great guests next week. We have Rio Lu joining us, which very excited. I've been excited for that conversation for a while. Moved over from Notion over to Cursor, and he has just been banging out cool stuff. So I want to talk to him about it. Soleil's joining us. I'm going to see and hang with him next week as well at the Detach After Party. Go get your tickets. I will be there. If you meme me, I will feature you in the newsletter.
Yep.
But after all of that, we're going to have, I think, some great takes, some great reactions, like fresh off of all the announcements. So big design related episode next week. We've got a lot of people to come and talk about whatever there's going to be to talk about. Which is a lot.
You know, speaking of next week, you're not going to be here Tuesday. And so I'm going to need somebody to hang out with on Tuesday. I believe, I don't know if he's still here, but I believe Brett is going to come hang on Tuesday. Brett from Design Joy.
Yeah.
And I got some tricks up my sleeve for if Brett's here. We're gonna spark some controversy.
I like it.
While Tommy's out of the house, if you will.
Yeah.
In all the right ways. So it's gonna be good.
I love that.
We got a question from Devin Fountain here before we go. Hi, longtime listener, first time caller. Tom, will you sign my left titty at config?
Absolutely. Like not even like just like easy. Things first. Come on.
Full on like Jensen Wong, just like you got the leather jacket on. You're just like, you know what? I'm getting in there. Let's do it.
We're doing it. It's gonna be fun. I may call in on Tuesday just to harass you guys for a second, make sure the house is kept clean, and then I'll bounce out again. But it'll be a good time. So if you are at config, please, I'm gonna be holding down the main floor with Dan Mall, a few other folks. We've got a fun little sneaker off with Nick Pattison, Dan Mall, the whole thing going on. I want to see you. I genuinely want to see you. Come up, knock me on the head. Let's say hello.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Have fun, man. Have fun. I'll be here manning the desk back at Release Notes HQ. That's what I'm doing.
There you go. All right. Well, this was a good episode. I loved it. Big things ahead. We will see you all on Tuesday.